Life always offers two paths, the barrel and the chains. The barrel looks like exile, loneliness, poverty, rejection, alienation. The chains look like safety, comfort, belonging, approval. But the truth is inverted. The barrel is freedom, and the chains are poison. Diogenes chose the barrel. He slept in exile, mocked kings, spat on illusions, and history remembers him as freer than rulers. Most people choose chains. They obey, they submit, they suffocate, and history forgot them. No one remembers them. Everybody remembers Diogenes, though. And now you stand before the same choice, barrel or chains, exile or obedience, fire or silence. If you felt this choice burning in your chest before, it's because you're a Catharsian. Join the Catharsians now on Patreon. Find the link in the description box. Chains glitter. They look like wealth. They look like respect. They look like belonging. But chains are always chains. The job that poisons you, the family that suffocates you, the culture that demands silence, the fake society full of hypocrites. Chains offer comfort but kill fire. Chains offer safety but suffocate rage. Chains offer belonging but erase truth. That's why you've always hated them. That's why every attempt to fit in has burned. Because your soul rejects chains. The barrel looks like weakness, poverty, failure, loneliness. But the barrel is pure freedom. Because in the barrel, there are no chains. In the barrel, there are no illusions. In the barrel, there's only fire. That's why Diogenes was freer than kings. That's why you've been freer than placeholders, even in exile. Because freedom is not measured in comfort, it's measured in chains. And the man with none, though mocked, exiled, rejected, is always the freest. Inside Diogenes' barrel on Patreon, exile becomes proof, not punishment. If you've carried the barrel all of your life, it's time to wear it as a crown. Enter Diogenes' barrel now on Patreon. Find the link in the description box. The system tells you to compromise, play the game, obey the rules, swallow the poison. But freedom is never given, it must be taken. And it's taken by rebellion. Rebellion is not optional, it's the price of freedom. Rebellion is not a choice, it's the law of fire. Rebellion is not arrogance, it's survival. That's why your rage has always felt sacred, because it is. Don't feel guilty for your rage. Don't feel shame for your rage. Don't feel bad about it. That's why rejection has followed you everywhere, because it's proof you never knelt. Most people kneel easily. They don't even feel the chains. They mistake obedience for life. But you could never. The chains cut too deeply. The poison burned too hot. The silence suffocated so much. That difference is not weakness, it's proof. Proof that you were never meant to kneel. Proof that you were never meant to obey. Proof that you are Catharsian. If you've always felt alien in a world of chains, it's because you were never meant to wear them. Begin your discipline now. Join the Pythagorean path on Patreon from the link in the description box. There is no middle ground. You can't half obey and be free. You can't half rebel and survive. You can't wear chains and still burn with fire. It's the barrel or the chains, rebellion or obedience, freedom or death. And that's why your life has felt like constant trials, because every day you've been forced to choose, and every time you refuse chains, you carried proof of your fire. If you know you've already chosen the barrel in your heart, It's time to stop carrying it alone. Join the Catharsians now on Patreon and reclaim your hidden, suppressed power. Society doesn't punish everyone equally. It doesn't punish obedience. It doesn't punish mediocrity. It doesn't even punish placeholders. It punishes rebels. Because rebels prove change are optional. Rebels prove obedience is poison. Rebels prove exile is survivable. That's why Diogenes was mocked. That's why Socrates was executed. That's why you've been punished your whole life. Every silence forced on you, every exile pushed onto you, every betrayal you endured. It was punishment, not for failure, but for freedom. If you've been punished for just being who you are, it's because you're a Catharsian. Claim your crown now. Join the Catharsis on Patreon from the link in the description box. Exile burns. It stripes you bare. You lose approval. You lose belonging. You lose comfort. And what remains? Fire. Catharsis. That's why Diogenes chose the barrel. It purified him of illusions. It striped away everything but truth. And that's why your exile has felt so heavy, because it's been your purification. It's been burning away the poison. It's been preparing you for fire. Exile was never weakness. It is proof that you are being refined into something greater because you're a Catharsian. Inside Diogenes' barrel on Patreon, exile is no longer pain, it's transformation. If you've carried the barrel long enough, it's time to step inside fully. Enter Diogenes' barrel on Patreon from the link in the description box. Rebellion doesn't survive on calm, it survives on rage. Socrates questioned with rage, disguised as reason. Diogenes mocked with rage, disguised as laughter. And you've burned with rage your entire life because you refused silence. That rage was clarity, it's pure strength. The rage is sacred, it's catharsis. Because rage keeps you alive, rage keeps you free, rage keeps you from drinking poison. And that rage is proof that you are chosen, you're a Catharsian. Placeholders obey easily. They mistake change for safety. They drink poison like it's water. That's why they look at you with confusion. Why can't you just play along? Why can't you just obey? Why can't you just fit in? Because you're not one of them. You can't survive on chains. Your soul rejects poison. And that difference has isolated you. But it's also your crown. Because only the chosen feel suffocated by obedience. If you've always felt too alive for their chains, it's because you were never meant to wear them. Begin your path now. Join the Pythagorean path on Patreon. Find the link in the description. Freedom is not given, it's taken, and it's taken through fire. That's why rebellion demands rage. That's why exile demands strength. That's why freedom demands rebellion. Because rebellion is the only antidote to obedience. Rebellion is the only cure for poison. Rebellion is the only crown for outsiders. You've carried rebellion in your chest your entire life. You've carried it in your laughter. You carried it in your rage. You've carried it in your refusal to kneel. And that rebellion is your proof. Chains weigh down the body. The barrel weighs down the soul. Because chains are easy. They demand silence and obedience. But the barrel is exile. The barrel is alienation. The barrel is carrying fire without belonging. That's why your life has felt heavier, because you've been carrying the barrel while everyone else chose chains. But remember, the heavier the crown, the greater the fire. If you know you've been carrying the barrel all your life, Stop carrying it alone. The Catharsians are your tribe. Join the Catharsians now on Patreon from the link in the description box. Obedience feels safe. It feels rewarded. It feels praised. But it always ends in death because the obedient leave someone else's script. They kill their fire. They bury their rage. They waste their soul. And when they die, they're forgotten. No one remembers placeholders. No one honors obedience. No one crowns mediocrity. That's why obedience is poison. It looks alive, but it's already death. If obedience has always felt like suffocation to you, it's because you were born for rebellion. You are a Catharsian leader. Join the Catharsians now on Patreon and reclaim your suppressed power. Socrates chose exile and death over obedience, and his fire still burns thousands of years later. Diogenes chose a burial over obedience, and his defiance still echoes across centuries. Rebels outlive empires, rebels outlive thrones, rebels outlive kings, because rebellion is fire, and fire never dies. That's why your laughter has survived every punishment. That's why your rage has endured every exile. That's why your fire still burns, despite every chain they try to place on you, because rebellion is immortality. The world tells you exile is shame, but it is lying. Exile is your throne, because exile is proof that you refuse chains. Exile is proof that you carried truth. Exile is proof you were chosen. That's why the barrel was more powerful than a throne. That's why your exile has been your crown all along. The very thing that burned you, loneliness, rejection, alienation, was not even a punishment. It was your initiation. It was your proof. You're a Carthaginian leader. Inside Diogenes' barrel, exile becomes your coronation. If you're ready to wear exile as your crown, step inside. Enter Diogenes' barrel on Patreon from the link in the description box. At first, rage isolates you. It makes you burn alone. It makes you feel alien. But rage is the seed of leadership because your rage is not just for you, it's for the world. It's the voice that refuses chains for everyone. It's the fire that refuses silence for anyone. Every time you've refused obedience, you've been leading. Every time you've mocked illusions, you've been leading. Every time you've laughed at fake power, you have been leading. Your rebellion is leadership in disguise. If you know your fire was meant to awaken others, then you're a Carthaginian leader. Lead with rebellion now. Join the Aurelius Council on Patreon from the link in the description. There's no middle ground. You cannot wear chains and still be free. You cannot half rebel and still burn. You can't obey and still be remembered. It is the barrel or the chains, exile or obedience, fire or poison, immortality or silence. The choice has been changing you your whole life, and every time you refuse change, you've proven you already know the answer. Because freedom demands rebellion, and rebellion demands fire. The system is offering you chains. The Carthaginians are offering you the barrel. Will you kneel in silence or will you burn in fire? Will you die as a placeholder or will you live as an exile? Will you wear chains or will you carry the crown of the barrel? The choice is yours. Socrates chose exile over obedience. Diogenes chose the barrel over obedience. And now it's your turn. Because freedom is never given, it is taken. Rebellion is not optional, it is destiny. Three paths stand open: the Pythagorean path, where rebellion is sharpened into discipline and fire becomes unbreakable; Diogenes' barrel, where exile becomes your throne and chains are burned forever; the Aurelius Council, where rebels rise as leaders and fire becomes the crown of nations. You don't need their chains. You don't need their approval. You don't need their poison. You only need fire. And that fire is already yours. Don't waste more time. Join the Catharsians today. The barrel or the chains. The choice is yours.